I hope the majority of you have taken the inventory in the morning. And those who came to see me, they have taken the inventory and are discussing the plus and minuses of their personality profile. So I hope everybody is thinking how is going to match with others and how finally start to understand himself or herself. Remaining two groups, two categories: the perfectionist or compliant and the steady serving group. And I will start with the perfectionist. The perfectionist group of healthy personalities. Sometimes we feel that the dominant and the perfectionists are unhealthy. They are not healthy, but they are healthy personalities. Healthy, normal personalities. But they need to work on themselves in certain issues like others. So, what could be the role of the perfectionists in any society or community? They are the ones who easily could organize and write job description, have a plan, detailed plan of action for mostly research. They are so good in researching any issue, and they are looking always for standards and qualities. You know those working in quality control? Better to be a perfectionist. The perfectionist personality usually misobserving what's good or what's normal. Their eyes always catch the defective parts. That's why they are good to work in quality control. But they could, if they will use this attitude in their own homes, it will be difficult regarding their children or their spouses or the arrangement in the house. Their eyes always are fixed on what's not in its place, what's not right, and they forget seeing what's good, because the good for them is the usual. If a new khidmah, the one responsible for the servant, is like that, he will be so hard on the servants. Whatever they are doing is not good enough. Whatever they are doing is not good enough. This is the feeling of the servants who are headed by someone who is a perfectionist. Whatever is doing good, they are supposed to do. So when a perfectionist could praise someone, it's so hard. Because he's looking for the perfect, and there's nothing perfect. Or very high qualities. So communication of the perfectionist with others, it's all mental and fault-finding. You understand? It's all mental and fault-finding. I'm talking about the high perfections. And God always will choose His prophets. Most of the prophets are perfectionists. so they could deliver the message exactly right, as God said to them. He chose Moses, Elijah, Jonah. All of them are perfectionists. For a certain reason, God made them like that, and He chose them like that. But according to their career, they had to say exactly as they heard it from God. The word exactly is not known to the emotional personality. And it's not important for the dominant. But for the perfectionist, he will ask God so many questions till he will know exactly what God wants. Is that a different personality? Or it's easy to deal with such a personality? Is it difficult to deal with such a personality or easy to deal with them?
Difficult.
Someone said it is difficult and the other are laughing. I don't know why. Maybe they are relating to someone in their mind. وخايفين يتكلموا. Would you imagine if your father's confession is a perfectionist? Just imagine if he is high perfectionist. You would like to see him serving in the altar. The way he's handling everything in the altar. If the deacon bring for him, the incense has to be a certain direction, a certain way. And the towel has to be in exact place. The way he handled everything must be exact. You will see him 100 times the same way. A perfectionist priest, you could listen to the liturgy 1,000 times. The same chanting, it has that, the same. So different than others. And this is their life. Everything has to be programmed. And if the program is messed up by seeing something not in place, they become so stressed and they start to criticize. They start to criticize, to become critical. Maybe if another piece of an eye will be joined to the perfectionist, it will help him to understand and be sensitive to the people, the congregation. What Elijah, you remember in 1 Kings 18, what he did with the priest of the Baal? He is in a process to show who is the real God. And then he killed them. About 750. He was into that process. God must be the holy God, the Lord, must be the one. And then, unfortunately, that high D personality, high C or high perfectionist personality, could easily get depressed. Why they get depressed? Because nothing is good enough for them. We always see the imperfections. So they are not satisfied. How about others who are around them? You could get depressed too. So they are not pleased by what they are seeing because a lot of imperfections in our life. And everybody family around them easily got depressed because whatever they are doing, they are not accepted. Is there a way to improve their personality? We know. Which is more difficult, the D or the C? Which is more difficult to please, the D or the C? The C is much harder to please. The D does not look for qualities. Accept what is doing or what is ordering, you will be accepted. But whatever you are doing with the C, it's hard to be accepted. It's hard. So any boss who is a perfectionist, you will find so many trying to escape from as an employee under him and change to another department. And he is easy to please if you understand what he wants and follow. If you are an executive secretary for a perfectionist boss, it's so hard for you. Whatever you are doing, you find faults in it, mistakes. Only holy love could change a perfectionist to another personality. Tell a perfectionist, معلش, and expect from him or her. Tell them, drop it, فوت يعني. He can't, he cannot. يعني ايه فوت؟ واحد perfectionist. يعني تقول فوت دي for someone who's emotional. Yes, it's so easy. يعني for the sake of this around me, I فوت جامد. So perfectionists are needed in the society because they are the ones who will take care of the details. And we need details. Even in our prayer we need details. Most engineers are perfectionists. Are you rejoicing for their spouses? And so many careers need certain characters and personalities. Engineering needs, as a career, it needs precision, detailed oriented. It needs people who are like that. Are they good? What do you expect? Are they good in expressing feeling? No. They are dealing with material. Engineers, they deal with concrete, cement, wood, iron. Not human feeling, human beings. So they are task-oriented, they are thinkers, detail-oriented. Get someone who is a D, direction-oriented, with someone who is detail-oriented, but the two will team together. Everybody knows his area. They will do it well. But those under them, if they are I and S, they will suffer. If the perfectionists, so take care, if they are not married yet, take care of that. If a perfectionist who wants to marry. If a high perfectionist wants to marry, he will come and tell me, no, that the profile of the face is not good. And ask him, what is the problem? Is it the nose, the mouth, the chin? I mean, no, everything is perfect. But على بعضه كده, no. And somebody professional came to tell me, everything is good except the ankle. If he will find any character of the person is looking for defective, he will forget about the others. That's why I remind me, please, at the end of this session to tell you the criteria for choosing a partner. Because some of you came, you don't know it. This way is made exactly to fit with the perfections, to have the perfections. But those are not perfections, easy to choose, easy to please. But perfections, we have to do it this way, so they don't lose their way between the details. So whether the calf or the ankle or the waist or the neck or the profile, I mean, it's all about the figure. If an engineer, someone came to my house during renovation, and he looked at the fireplace, and told me, this fireplace is not exactly in the middle of this wall. So what do you want? Please keep it, I don't know. They told me, look to this wall, another wall. I think one of the pillars is not similar exactly to the other one in position. He is looking for something not in place. To the other eye, it's okay. إيه يعني fireplace not in the middle يعني? Maybe it looks better. It's on one side. So those are the perfections. They have to value. Look for that statement. They have to value the relationship with others more than the quality and standard of their behaviors in order for them to have a good relationship with others. God is not going to judge me about how meticulous I was in my earthly life وبغلس على الناس. I torment people because of my detailed orientation. But he will ask me, did you love your spouse, your children, and others? Did you behave according to your love? Or you made their life miserable? God will ask me that. So, an intelligent perfectionist will look for his eternity. And he will value the relationship more than the details. Especially in the relationship area. In building, in projects, let him do whatever he wants in the details. But also take care of those working with you. I will read with you now the characters of their personality, followed by, we'll read 2 chapters from the book of Exodus, chapter 3 which start by the burning bush, and chapter 4 till verse 19. Read first. Who do you expect to be the biblical character in these two chapters? Moses. Moses the perfectionist. And you see how God dealt with him. Or how did he deal with God? God is perfect. And his ways are perfect. But is met with suspicion of Moses. We read general characters in the Bible.
The perfectionist personality is on page 7 in the handbook. Biblical characters represent this pattern: Esther, John, and Moses. Distinctive features: emotions, competent in doing things right, restrained, cautious in expressing feelings. Goals: security, minimizing high-risk decisions. Judges others by precise standards, influences others by meticulous planning and preparation, and attention to quality. Value within an organization: conscientious approach, maintains high standards and quality control thinking. Overuses standard operating procedures, dependency on people and processes that have worked in the past. Under pressure, becomes tactful and diplomatic with others. Fears antagonistic response from others. With increased effectiveness with more clarification of responsibilities, independent initiative, and confidence in self.
Do you expect if you criticize a perfectionist, what will be his or her reaction? A perfectionist means he's trying himself to be as perfect as he can, and he's trying to move others around him to be as perfect as he can. He's expecting perfection from himself and from others. He's hard on himself and hard on others. If you criticize a perfectionist, why he is going to get agitated? Because he cannot face the fact that he could make a mistake. He can't face it. He's not allowing himself to do a mistake. And sometimes our way of parenting or the way we have been parented lead to that. And I don't have the luxury to make a mistake. So if you point at any mistake, you take it so hard and become so disturbed because you were hard on themselves, still you did a mistake and don't accept doing mistakes. If those who are dealing with perfectionists understand the way they are programmed, it will make their life very easy. I mean, those around and the perfectionists. If he or she will get stressed because the program in the mind is messed up by seeing something not in place, understand why they are disturbed and stressed. And don't criticize them if they get angry or criticize. Don't criticize. Just wait. Drop it. فوتلهم. After some time, knowing that he is a perfectionist or she is a perfectionist, will return again. I describe it as if you are looking at the computer and the lines all of a sudden get confused. Letters get confused and up and down, not in line. Stay for some time, everything will return back in place. As if you disturb water and then leave it, it will calm down. So give them a chance to take a deep breath. Don't argue with them when they are in that state of disturbance of the program. We'll see how Moses, when God was delivering him the message to go to Egypt and let his people out, asking Pharaoh to let them out and lead them into the Sinai desert to Canaan. He is a perfectionist. See the way he was answering God. And count with me how many times Moses stopped God to tell him, no, I can't do it. Give me more details. We'll start by reading the burning bush, and starting from verse 7 we'll see God started to explain to Moses the exact mission in details. But still Moses is doubting whether he can do it or not. God is choosing you, telling you, go, and I will be with you. Still you say, maybe something, maybe. Because he wants more details, and he's doubting his abilities to do it. The smart perfectionist wants to see others did exactly the same thing, and could copy them. So he will be sure that is on the right side. They fear the unexpected. Anything you did not do before, they fear going into such projects unless they research them. So we'll read now from Exodus 3.
Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock into the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
You see now? The Lord started now. Start from here now, seeing what he has said to Moses.
At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out into the land, into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way of the Egyptians. And I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?
What did he say now? God is telling him, you will go. And then he told him, who am I to do that? As if he understands more than God. God is choosing you. He will be with you. He's ordering you But Moses will say, who am I to go and get them out? Count with me how many times he stopped God. This is number one. Read again.
But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who has sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I say to them? God said,
what's that number now?
God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation. Go, assemble the elders of Israel and say to them, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have watched over you and have seen what has been done to you in Egypt. And I have promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. The elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the desert to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. And I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed towards this people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask her neighbor and any woman living in her house for articles of silver and gold, for clothing with which you will put on your sons and daughters, and you will plunder the Egyptians.
Till now, the Lord God is explaining to Moses exactly why is the mission, what is the mission, how he is going to do it. He will be with the one who will lead the people. And he told them, Pharaoh will not accept, and I will stretch my hand against Pharaoh and the Egyptian. Explain everything. Then, who am I to do? If he asks me, what's your name? This is Moses, the perfectionist, is always doubting his efficiency and the effectiveness of his work. He wants more details. We'll see after some time God will be fed up with Moses.
Moses answered, what if they do not believe me or listen to me and say the Lord did not appear to you?
Was that number 1? Yes.
Then the Lord said to him, what is that in your hand? A staff, he replied. The Lord said, throw it on the ground. Moses threw it on the ground and it became a snake, and he ran from it. Then the Lord said to him, reach out your hand and take it by the tail. So Moses reached out and took hold of the snake, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. This, said the Lord, is so that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. Then the Lord said, put your hand inside your cloak. So Moses put his hand in his cloak, and when he took it out, it was leprous like snow. Now put it back in your cloak, he said. So Moses put his hand back into his cloak, and when he took it out, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. Then the Lord said, if they do not believe you or pay attention to the first miraculous sign, they may believe the second. But if they do not believe these two signs or listen to you, take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground. The water you take from the river will become blood on the ground. Moses said to the Lord, O Lord, I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and of tongue.
What's that? He's slow. He's slow to speak. Is that a problem?
Yes.
Is that a problem if God is with you? Scattering, is that a problem if God will tell you what to say and will support what you are going to say? He is inventing excuses in order not to go. Moses is inventing excuses. And he didn't know that God was preparing him for 40 years in the desert to go in that mission. He didn't know. He showed himself to him in the burning bush. He told him about the mission, about his name, what to say to the elderly. And he showed him the 3 miracles which he can do it, convinced that God is with him. The staff, his hands, and the water to change to blood. And still number 4 is telling him, God, I can't speak. I'm slow to speak. This is excuse number 4.
The Lord said to him, who gave man his mouth? Who makes him deaf or mute? Who gives him sight or makes him blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say. But Moses said, O Lord, please, send someone else to do it. Number 5. Then the Lord's anger burned against Moses, and he said, what about your brother Aaron, the Levite? I know he can speak well, and his heart will be glad when he sees you. You shall speak to him and put words in his mouth. I will have both of you speak and will teach you what to do. He will speak to the people for you, and it will be as if he were your mouth, and as if you were God to him. But take this staff in your hand so you can perform miraculous signs with it. Then Moses went back to Jethro his father-in-law and said to him, let me go back to my own people in Egypt to see if any of them are still alive. Jethro said, go, and I wish you all well. Now the Lord had said to Moses and Midian, go back to Egypt, for all the men who wanted to kill you are dead.
And the enemy told him, God, I'm not going. Send somebody else. God convinced him, but still he's opposing God because he feels inadequate. This is not humility of Moses, no. He feels if the mission will not be successful, what is he going to think of himself? He cannot tolerate failure. Even if God is with him, then God got angry at Moses and told him, Aaron will speak for you. And I will direct you to be the leader still. But you have to go. And finally, he found himself after the anger of God. He told his father-in-law, Gershom, it seems I have to go. This is Moses. So be careful with the perfectionists. If they are reluctant to start a project, support them, encourage them, tell them you'll be able to do it. It will be good. Don't worry. They need that. Perfectionists, when starting something, you need encouragement and support from those around them, and they will do it right. Now, let us see how to have a good relationship with a perfectionist. These are issues, golden rules to help you. If you deal with one of them, as I told you, most of the Egyptians are what? Dominant and perfectionists. The way we were raised in parenting, we don't accept parents, don't accept other than A in the report card. We don't accept except study. If the report card will have a B, it's a problem. So we were raised in a way either to be knowing direction or details. Families are very loving and affectionate and express that openly could produce sibling children who are affectionate and good expression, INS. I beg you, if you have families, express feelings. Don't continue the line of dominance and perfection. Break the line and get children who are a bit different. And there's a way to change the dominant to someone better and the perfections to something better. Let us see how to deal with the perfections.
12 principles are important to remember in helping to create a positive environment for a high P. They have a preference for intellectual pursuits. When requesting their participation in a project, be ready to give specific details. They will usually exercise caution and restraint. They need assurance of support for their efforts. Be prepared to answer questions in a patient and persistent manner. Be willing to provide reassurance that no surprises will occur. Support your plan with accurate data and specific information.
Remember God, what He was doing with Moses.
And strongly reject any poorly statements that they may give. Disagree with the facts and not the person. Be willing to offer assistance if their fears persist. Recognize that they are conscientious. Recognize that they are conscientious, maintain high standards, and complete assignments given to them. Modify your expectations by understanding their greatest struggle.
What is the greatest struggle for a perfectionist? Something unknown to them, the unexpected failure, not doing it right. They fear that. As I told you again, it's so easy for a perfectionist to change to an S by God and His holy love. Adding more love, adding part of an I to Him. A perfectionist could change to the last group, which is a capital S. This is the group, the civil servant, is the group of characters like Virgin Mary, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom God promised ever to be in their bosom. Those are steady servants. The S is a mix between perfectionist and influencing. It's a mix between the emotional and the perfectionist. And S is a perfectionist with themselves, but not on others. Hard on themselves, but not on others. They could drop it for others. They will not make their life miserable if they do a mistake. A servant in Sunday school must be this way. He prepared meticulously, he prayed before giving the presentation, asks others to pray for him. But if during visitation he will find one of his own children or young men or young women involved something wrong, he will not get upset. He will not get upset. We need fatherhood from the servants. And S is easy for him or her to have fatherhood or motherhood on those whom they are serving. Pure perfectionists, high perfectionists, or high D is very hard for them to express their fatherhood. In this world, we are missing fatherhood. So, is it easy for a perfectionist to change to an S? Yes. As I told you, by focusing on God is unconditional love. Unconditional love. And to focus on the relationship more than the tasks. So the S, the civil servant group, are the employees. They don't like any conflict around them. They are steady, which means they don't like to change places, one place to another. They want to stay as they are. They are not that ambitious. They don't ask for an increase or an increment in their salary from their boss. They believe God will send to them, and God really sent to them. The best employee, they don't complain. They work hard. They don't ask for a raise. What do you want more? At the same time, they are the best wives or best husband. The S could be servants, could be of course good priests, good husband and wives, and good employee. They don't at all cause trouble. They're not troublemakers. Working hard, not disturbing those around them. They are able to show affection and support and encouragement for those around them. And they are hard on themselves to work hard, whether spiritually or at home or at work. But look what God did with Saint Mary, Virgin Mary. What God did with Abraham. He moved them from one place to another, one place against their own nature. Why God did that? To be more submissive to Him. He wants to change something in them. He wants to prepare them. He prepared Virgin Mary for the crucifixion. And He prepared Abraham for the offering of Isaac. To be wholly submissive to God. I will go against your nature, Abraham. You move from one place to another, one place to another. I will support you. I will give you a promise, but I will delay its fulfillment. See how much you are trusting me. Virgin Mary accepted the Annunciation, accepted that she will be humiliated and maybe she's going to be stoned because without a man she's pregnant. She escaped like a coward and carrying Jesus the Lord on a donkey with Joseph, and after them the officers of Herod, as if they are running after a robber, and he escaped. She knows that he is the Lord Jesus. All these flight to Egypt, one place to another, lot of suffering, but in preparation for the most difficult suffering, seeing her son on the cross. So God prepares those people with the S to hardships, to have more submission. Because more submission means getting into eternity. More submission to God and thanking God for whatever happened in their life. Then I will ask you, which group of personality are usually submissive to God more than others? The S. Easy for them to submit. And God is giving them homework for submission. Homework for submission. Preparing them for the most difficult to come. The more they grow in faith, the more they will feel the joy with Jesus in preparation for the eternal joy. So, would you marry an S? Would you like a wife who is an S? Mute? That's mute. Would you like to marry a husband who is an S? Women are much more generous. Do you have a problem with married here? Okay. Do you remember Abraham and Sarah? When she gave him the order, take my maid Hagar and have a son from her. He said first, no, take my maid. Sarah was dominant. And Father Abraham, he was submissive to God, as well as easy for him not to enter into a conflict with his wife. He hates to get into a conflict. بيفوت يعني. عاوز يعيش. هيجر كانت إشمال. خلاص. Then Ishmael must not live here. Get him out with his mother. No, you tell her. She is your maid. No, you tell her. I said, okay. And then the angel told her to return and to be submissive to her master, Sarah. She returned. And then they got Isaac. A conflict between Isaac and Ishmael let her go away outside to leave the house. Abraham is a man who doesn't like to have a conflict with Lot, his nephew. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want to see a conflict between his shepherd and his shepherd. Choose whatever you like, but we have to be in peace. Who's that man? Is that a manhood? This is the manhood of someone who's so submissive to God, trusting the hand of God, that He is going to bless him. He's a giver, and God blesses him more and more. Most of the real submissive, steady servant personality, God is blessing them a lot. And they have peace in their heart. They don't feel agonized, because God is with them. So we will read characters of that category, and then at the end I will tell you if such a group would merge such a group, what would be the result.
Asserting personality, biblical characters who represent this pattern: Abraham and Hannah. Distinctive features: emotions, accepts affection, rejects aggression, tends to suppress his own angry thoughts or actions. Goals: acceptance of and by others. Judges others by their tolerance and how they include others, and loyalty. Influences others by offering understanding and friendship. Value within an organization. Supportive, strives for harmony, shows empathy, service-oriented. Overuses kindness. Under pressure, adopts a low profile, tries to smooth waters, can be persuasive by using information effectively. Fears, dissension in relationships. Will increase effectiveness with more confidence in who he is and what he can do. Being firm when necessary, self-assertive, will benefit from saying no when appropriate.
It's so easy to deal with such a personality. The easiest kind of personality to deal with. They are not troublemakers, and you will say yes, يقولوا حاضر. خير تجوز ست تقول حاضر. Just imagine, dreamed by such a lady who will tell you حاضر على كل حاجة. In the old days, the majority of the ladies were S. That's why we did not see. That's why we did not see troubles or divorce separation in our older generations. We have never heard about divorce 50 years ago. Why marriages were so smooth? Because most ladies were S. Even most men were dominant. But still, she gave him his. Still, she respected him as the man of the family. It's so easy for an ex to respect everybody. And of course, I'll talk with her husband. It's easy to say yes, doesn't cause any trouble, and she avoids conflicts. And she's a hard worker, and she's a good mother. Hard on herself. If you listen to anyone talk about his mother from the older generation, as if he's telling a story, a tale. Nobody believed that that lady has 7 children or 10 children, and she was working with her hands exactly like Parable 31. Proverb 31, and working with her hands, feeding them all, sewing for them, taking care of everybody, respecting her husband. And she's very humble, it doesn't cause any trouble. It's not fiction. These are the women of the past. What happened to women these days? much TV. Sorry over it. They are into the romance and expectations. I have never seen my mother asking my dad for a romantic trip. He didn't know what's romance. He was gentle with her and he was gentle with her. Romance means he will enjoy what she's cooking. So too much emotional expectations from young women these days. Too much expectations. With the stress of these days, unmet expectations lead to more trouble. So let us see how it's so easy to deal with an S. Again, I will say it again. If you will find a young woman who is primarily S, take your chance and let her go. Don't let her go, please. Because you might not find someone else with an S. It's important for each church to announce and advertise for the S young woman.
They usually seek acceptance and try to maintain stability. They prefer environments that maintain the status quo unless specific reasons are given for change. They seek to avoid conflict within relationships. They demonstrate loyalty and support for those they respect. They strive for security for their families. They need to be given time to adjust to an opportunity and to visualize requests made of them. They need personal assurance of support. They seek out close, personal friendships. They need the person dealing with them to modify their expectations of them by understanding their greatest struggles.
Now, if an S is going to marry an S, do you expect problems? Do you expect any problems? God is going to bless the homes. Maybe I'm not that ambitious, but God is blessing their homes and their children. Both of them are hard workers. Both of them is into pleasing the other one, satisfying the needs of the other one. And they are hard on themselves. Now, an S could marry any other category in personality. An S could, because the easiest is to deal with an S. Submission is their nature, which means respect. We don't tell anybody with an S, would you please respect more? Because they respect. And they express well. Could an S marry a perfectionist? Because S is partially perfection on themselves. So they are detail-oriented and hard on themselves. So the place will be tidy and well organized. And if the man is perfectionist and the woman is an S, she will show him affection, which he really needs. Actually, her affection could change him to another S. He will be trained to express. Could an S marry an I? Yes. And what would be the result? Someone is into organization, the S is into organization of the house, and both of them are good in expressing feelings. And the S is good in time. Could an S submit to the direction of the D? So easy. She is an employee and he is a leader, no problem. Could an S be a leader? Yes.
Yes.
He could be a leader. Could we live without S? No. Because they are the real workers, the real hard workers in the house. بيستحملوا يعني they could tolerate الغلاسة بتاعت others. So I will tell you now first criteria in choosing a partner. Please write this if you have pens. There are, please, I will just take enumeration. 4 keys are important in helping you in the process of discovering the choice of God to you. You understand? You just discover the choice of God to you. 4 keys could help you in that. Guidance of a father of confession. Your prayer and fasting. Number 3, parental blessing. And number 4, doors are opening and not closing. These are the keys. What are the criteria in knowing that he or she is the gift of God to you, the choice of God to you? You will discover that she or he is the choice of God to me. Number 1, Christ-centeredness. That person is Christ-centered, which means the way they think, the way they behave, the way they talk is Christ's way. And you know that, of course, by dealing with him or her. This takes 50% of the decision. It makes 50% of your decision. Then the other criteria, other than Christ-centeredness, each will make 5% of the decision, which means if he or she will take 3 out of 5, it's not important. Because easy could give 45 out of 50 for Christ-centeredness, even if it's not that good in the Bible. Even if not a servant in Sunday school and not a deacon in the church. But when you listen to him, you go with him, you see his behavior, he is Christ-centered. Christ is filling his heart and mind. Number 2 is the criteria, the 2 families could be mixed together. This is important because marriage is between 2 families. I'm talking about social level, intellectual, and spiritual. Could be mixed together, could be find something to talk about mutually. Number 3 in the criteria, understanding, listening, and communication abilities. It has nothing to do with your PhD or master's degree, scientific degrees. Number 4, emotional expression, ability to express positive emotions, and ability to control negative emotions. Number 5, social skills, socialize. Look for the friends and self-control disorders. Social disease, addiction and all that kind, and in particular pornography. What's that? This is about Christ-centeredness, the families, the communication abilities and understanding, emotional expression, social skills. Number 6, responsibilities. Is he or she responsible? And you know that by his behavior at his work and outside his work with others. 7, reliability. Reliability. Could you rely on him or her? Could you turn your back safely to him or to her? Could he or she take care of the finances and of the children? Does he or she have a career? Responsible and reliable financially. Number 8, so the career merit number 8 has a career or not. Housewife is a career, by the way. Housewife is a career. Being a housewife, a mother and housewife is a career. If you understand the term of housewife. Number 9, see, number 9 is features and figure. The features and the figure. Number 10, any physical organic diseases which could affect future marital life. Number 11, the presence of psycho-emotional disorders which could affect, damage future marital life. I mentioned 11 criteria. Take number 1, which is Christ-centeredness, 60%, and the rest, the 10, prioritize them according to what you want, but each must not exceed 5% in making the decision. Why I say this 5%? Because perfectionists, if they will see anything defective in those with the 5s, they will stop. They're not going to choose. You see, they're not there. I can't choose them. It's so easy for someone to choose if it's an I or an S. D and perfectionists are hard to choose. If you are a DC or a CD, you have to submit to God and seek more than others guidance in the path of profession. You have it now, you can see that in detail in any CD or tape which I have explained before in my presentation, but this is, we give it to some of you as to say it. Now, are you still willing to learn? You understand your personality now, and you understand how to deal with others. So, I encourage you, please, I encourage you to go and I encourage you to assess, to evaluate yourself every 6 months or a year to see whether you have improved in the tasks which you have put in front of your eyes to improve in it, your weaknesses. Every 6 months or 1 year, and be guided by your spiritual father. Tell him, I want to improve this month in, say, humility, delegation of tasks, expressing myself, self-disclosure. For each month, you work on one of the tasks. Second month, you work on number 1 and number 2. Third month, 1, 2, and 3. And your progress must be written in a notebook, your journal, to see what are the obstacles which hindered you from getting improved, and show that to further compassion. God bless you. And any question? No questions? Okay, now tomorrow, please, tomorrow I will see you in the next session to see what are other factors which could affect our personality. We have spiritual factors, we have personality disorders, and we have psycho-emotional disorders. I talk about healthy personalities, but even healthy personalities could be affected by other criteria. Thank you so much for listening.